All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Blessings to everybody. In the name of Yeshua, Jesus the Messiah, I do pray everybody watching is very, very blessed in many ways. And man, this Bitcoin price action, indecision at the highest level. But I think if we take a look at the charts, we might be able to see what we can expect in the coming days, in the coming weeks, in the coming months. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Indiana Candles. Shout out to Indiana Candles again. Shout out to David. Has anyone ever heard the Dump song? I don't know. Guys, if we can get, right now, if we can get on the stream 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we will be giving away $250 worth of Bitcoin. If we can get 1,000 likes within the first half hour, we will be giving away $250 worth of Bitcoin. Shout out to TJ Johnson. Shout out to Seabrail, Seabers. Shout out to Angry Pistons, 3K Bear Trap. All right, guys. God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate all of you. Shout out to Zing the Crypto, Mr. Schlong. Do you think we're pumping or dumping? Well, here's the thing. We're going to get into that. We're going to be taking a look at market Cipher. We're going to be taking a look at these charts, right? As you can see, I'm still holding on to this short, which I thought was going to be a small scalp. Ended up being a decent trade as well. I'm still holding on to a long, which I thought was going to be a small scalp, and also ended up being a pretty decent trade. So, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, okay? I don't know what's going to happen, but I have a hunch. And I have a plan. And that is what we need to have, right? What is the price going to do? Is it going to pump? Is it going to dump? It depends. We can't know for certain, but we have to have multiple plans for multiple situations. For example, is Bitcoin going to pump? It might. But if it doesn't, what's our plan? We will be a depends model. If it does pump, what's our plan? Well, we're going to be a crypto millionaire, billionaire, living in Dubai, eating expensive steaks with Carl from the Moon. By the way, shout out to Carl from the Moon, who in fact does sponsor this channel. Me and him have a movie coming out soon. More information on that very, very shortly. So let's get into this Bitcoin price, guys. As you can see, Bitcoin did get a move up to the 618 Fibonacci level a few days ago when we got the CPI news. We came up here, we rejected from that 0.65 fib, and we are currently back inside of this range, right? And we've been basically trading within a very small range at the top of this massive range for the past few days. Now, I want to take a look at a few different time frames here, but, you know, first of all, what has happened in the past week, I believe could be a historic moment for Bitcoin. It absolutely could be a historic moment for Bitcoin. And the reason why I say that, y'all, is because of the following. When we got the news that Silvergate Bank went under, Bitcoin got a pretty big dump to the downside. Then we started to hear about Silicon Valley Bank, and all of a sudden we see massive blue candles popping up out of nowhere, lasting more than 4 hours. And, you know, we bounced off a very, very key zone of support, right? This is actually a surprising zone of support to bounce from. In my opinion, it's a bullish zone because we had much stronger supports below, but the market was very willing to buy a Bitcoin right here. And yes, this is the level that we did give in the Casper Crew VIP Discord as one of the potential supports on the way down, right? We had 3 supports on this big drop, and this was one of them, and this is the support where we did actually find support. All right, also in the VIP Casper Crew Discord, now that we're in this small range, we have successfully shorted the top of it yesterday and longed the bottom of it yesterday. So on these smaller term time frames, Casper Crew VIP Discord gave the short setup from here, gave the long setup from here. We are now all schlong, having shorted the top and longed the bottom. And now we're waiting for a decision to be made. And the market is also waiting for a decision to be made because next week, we do have some very important news coming out. The Federal Reserve is going to be announcing the rate hikes. And this is a very crucial moment, a very historic moment for Bitcoin, right? It's a very historic moment for Bitcoin. Shout out to all the mods in the chat, by the way. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. So let's just kind of clear off the chart a little bit. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a bird's eye point of view, right? let's just kind of see what's going on here. If we take a look at the weekly time frame, we can see a few bullish signs. We can see that the money flow is starting to curve to the upside on market Cipher B, and we're printing a green trigger wave. So at first glance, this actually does look bullish, or at the very least, to me, it makes it seem like in the long term, in the bigger term picture, we have more upside ahead of us, right? If we take a look at the monthly time frame as well, market Cipher B has bottomed out quite nicely here. And historically, when we print these monthly green dots, it doesn't mean we're not going to experience volatility. It doesn't mean we're going to get, you know, nothing but these types of candles for the rest of the move up, but it does mean a significant bottom has been put in. When we get down to the daily time frame, however, if we don't close a weekly candle, in my opinion, above the 25, I want to close a weekly candle above the February high, above 25.4, give or take. If we don't close the weekly candle above there, we will be confirming what may be one of the most bearish looking things I have ever seen on market Cipher B in my life, which is where on the daily time frame, as we are coming higher and higher and higher to the key zone of resistance, the Fibonacci golden pocket, we are seeing the money flow and the momentum waves get lower. This is more than just a bearish divergence, guys. The money flow on market Cipher B is probably the most powerful indicator on market Cipher. And when this is getting lower as price is getting higher, that is extremely, extremely bearish. I cannot remember the last time we have even seen this on the daily time frame. I don't know if there's been a time in recent history that we have seen this on the daily time frame. We saw it at the all-time high, going back to the $69,000 level. That is the last time we saw money flow getting lower on the daily time frame as the price was getting higher, right? So if we don't confirm a weekly candle close above this white line, it's my concern that the divergence is going to play out. And what that means is, see, on a higher time frame, it's not anything too bearish, right? Because we could even put in a lower low, right? And even a lower low, this is still just a sideways range. This is still just consolidation, right? An accumulation pattern. It could be a Wyckoff schematic. I forget which one, number 1 or number 2. It could be the type of Wyckoff schematic where we put in now a lower low. And it wouldn't be necessarily bearish. It would still be long-term bullish. But these divergences would have to play out, okay? Then we go down to like the 8-hour time frame, and also the 8-hour time frame is starting to look a little bit bearish as well, with the momentum and the money flow coming down, right? As the price is getting higher into key resistance, we've got a very clear bearish divergence here. Money flow also getting lower. And we also know that we have come up to the Fibonacci golden pocket, and we know about that 618 Fibonacci. We know all about her. She is a girl, my high school crush. Here's a picture of her, actually. I still have a picture of her after all these years. And I tried to ask her out on a date. Unknowingly, I was in the friend zone. So when I made my romantic inquiry, she rejected me. And it was a tough rejection. And the main reason she rejected me is because she was too embarrassed to say yes in front of her hot cheerleader popular girlfriends. Here's a picture of her hot cheerleader popular girlfriend, standing right there. And when I asked out 6 Juanita, her hot popular friend looked over at 6 Juanita like, "You're really gonna go out with this dude?" And she was like, "Ugh, Jason Casper, you disgust me," right? Upside down, uneven butt cheek pattern. That's exactly what we're seeing right now on market Cipher B, guys. We are seeing the left butt cheek very, very big, the right butt cheek very, very small, right? If we just kind of clear off all these lines here and just kind of look at just the pattern that market Cipher B is making, it's an uneven butt cheek pattern, upside down, uneven butt cheek pattern, where you have a very juicy left butt cheek, and then the right butt cheek is very, very skinny, like that waitress who works at the diner, that skinny old waitress with the Brooklyn accent who smokes too many cigarettes and she got the veins popping out of her neck. She comes out with the coffee. "Hey, Jason, how you doing, hun? Jason, you're looking kind of skinny over here. Let me get you some pancakes." And I'm like, "Dolores, you're calling me skinny? I'm trying to be jacked. I'm trying to get buff, you know? I'm trying to eat clean and trend hard, you know?" But no, she thinks I'm skinny, and the reason why she thinks I'm skinny is because I don't work out my legs, right? I don't work out my legs. I only work out my upper body, right? Very skinny legs. But here's the thing about 6 Juanita. There is a chance that after going to the gym, getting a Pikachu hat and a market Cipher shirt, she very well may go out with us on a date. So as we're kind of watching this 8-hour time frame form here, as we're holding this zone of support, which, by the way, the support that we're currently bouncing from, the support that we gave in the Casper Crew VIP Discord to take the long from, that support is a very important level. It is the high from February, and then it was support in the end of February, consolidation, and then it was flipped into resistance in the beginning of March. So this is a support resistance flip. If we are going to hold this level, and if we start to see what looks like maybe market Cipher start to tick to the upside right here, specifically on the 8-hour, where we're actually starting to see money flow curve back to the upside, we may get another big pump. When we are in very bullish environments, oftentimes purple money flow will actually act as support, right? We saw this happen the last time we got a pullback on Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, when we got our pullback down to about, let's see, where was that pullback? We have to refresh the screen to see it here. That pullback right down around here. When we got this pullback, money flow was looking very bearish. We were in fact printing a very bearish divergence on the 4-hour time frame. Price was getting higher, momentum and money flow was all getting lower, right? But look at what happened. When we crossed money flow into the purple, that actually acted as support, giving us another push to the upside. So I think right now the market is in a bit of indecision mode, because the truth is, right now, because of all these banks that are going under, the Federal Reserve is in between a rock and a hard place, right? Because for the past year, they've been raising interest rates, trying to get inflation down. And it's a give and take, right? It's a give and take. When the Fed raises interest rates, what it does is it makes the dollar stronger, it lowers inflation, it makes risk assets like stocks and crypto go down in value compared to the dollar, but banks get wrecked. And that's what we're starting to see now. As the Fed has been raising rates for the past year, we're starting to see cracks in the fractional reserve financial system that pretty much the entire world uses. These banks are going under. They're insolvent. And so now the Fed has to make a decision. Are we going to let these banks collapse and keep raising rates? Or are we going to save the banks by essentially pivoting, turning on the printing press, bailing out these banks, and or lowering interest rates? Now, when the Fed starts printing quantitative easing, what it does is it does keep banks afloat. This is how they were able to bail out the banks in 2008. They created more money and gave it to the banks so that the banks didn't have to be responsible for their mismanagement. It also increases inflation, and it causes the dollar to get weaker. AKA, when the Fed starts printing, the dollar loses purchasing power. That's why over the past year, if you have a lot of dollars, you can buy more stuff. You could buy more Bitcoin, right? In 2022, I could buy way more Bitcoin for $1 than I could back in 2020 when the Fed was printing like crazy, right? But that's the problem, right? It's a give and take. If the Fed is going to start printing again, our dollar is going to get weaker. That's going to cause risk assets to go up in price when compared to the dollar. And that includes risk assets like Bitcoin. And we're seeing people starting to FOMO into Bitcoin right now. We are seeing the Bitcoin dominance go up like crazy. And a lot of people that don't know where else to put their money are scared to put their money in the bank. They're scared to put their money in stablecoin. And Bitcoin's starting to look a lot sexier. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin's starting to look a lot sexier. She's starting to look like good old 6 Juanita up in here. You know what I'm saying? So people are putting their money into Bitcoin. Very interesting to see what's going to happen. Right now, most people are expecting the Fed to raise rates by 25 basis points on Wednesday. But some people, and this number is actually getting lower by the hour, some people are expecting the Fed not to raise interest rates at all. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. If the Fed decides not to raise interest rates on Wednesday, this could be the catalyst, in my opinion, that shoots Bitcoin beyond the massive zone of resistance that we have at about $25.3 thousand. And if this happens, I believe it could extend this bear market relief rally for a number of months. Okay? Here's why. When we start coming back up into the $30,000 zone, we are moving now into the old range that we traded for 2 years, 2021, 2022. And the way volume theory works is when the market establishes a fair value for an asset, right? When the market establishes a fair value for an asset like we do right here, once the price comes back inside of this fair value zone, it is more probable than not that we make our way up to the top of that fair value zone. This is exactly what has happened over the past half a year with Bitcoin, where we established a fair value zone between 18K and 25K. When we lost that fair value zone, once we came back into it, it was a very fast move back up to the top. So we could see a relief rally that catches a lot of people off guard. In addition to that, the 200-week moving average. The 200-week moving average is something that we have never ever in the history of Bitcoin traded below, right? We've never traded below the 200-week moving average. So let's take a look at this. This is absolutely crazy. It's always acted as a major zone of support ever since Bitcoin existed for 200 weeks, right? Ever since Bitcoin existed for 200 weeks, we can see that this 200-week moving average, key support in the bear market of 2015, key support in the bear market of 2018. Now we are below it. What does that mean? If we break above this trend line, I believe it is going to be an explosive move. In addition to that, we can see that we are currently printing a potential very bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern right here below that 200-week moving average, right? Now, I don't trade breakouts of patterns, right? We have to look for an entry unless you're that type of trader. But for me, you know, I'm usually trading higher leverage. I don't just say, oh, if we come above this level, I'm longing, right? That would be stupid in my opinion. The reason why it's stupid is because our next resistance above this zone is going to be like 2830K. So that's a 10% move. But to the downside, there's a lot more downward potential here, right? The last low is a 25% move. So essentially, we'd be risking 25% to gain 10%. Not a good risk reward. We'd have to find an entry. But we're not looking for a trade entry here. We're talking about the potential of Bitcoin as we move into these very interesting times where the Fed very well may be doing something that is going to act as a catalyst to push Bitcoin to the upside. And I do want to just talk about the fact that oftentimes we will see the fundamentals and the technicals work together, right? It's just weird how life works. But you'll see something on the chart, and the chart will predict that there's going to be some kind of news event that comes out, right? We saw the bearish signs before FTX went down, extremely bearish, and then FTX goes down, right? It's just, that's kind of the way it works, right? I remember I made a video how I trade Elon Musk tweets, right? I'm in the trade before Elon tweets, and then Elon tweets, boom, price makes a huge move. It's not because Elon tweeted, maybe it is, but the chart was telling us something was going to happen before the fundamental news came out. And right now we are seeing macro bottom signals as we're in a very, very interesting time. I mean, literally, we're on the brink of a global financial collapse. And people don't want to admit that, but that's literally what's happening right now. We have the third largest bank in Europe failing right now. That's crazy. That's crazy. Silicon Valley Bank, the 16th largest bank in the United States. These are not isolated events. We are going to see more dominoes fall, guys, unless some kind of drastic measures happen right now. Okay? So I'm excited, right? I've got Bitcoin on spot a lot, and if we reject hard, I've got dry powder on the side as well, ready to scoop me up some corn, man, as we go. So we also have to we have to look at the dollar. We have to look at some other things. You know, right now locally for Bitcoin, here's kind of what I'm looking at. We're trading within this sideways range right here. We can go down to a lower time frame. I haven't really taken very many trades today. I took one long trade today, and that's about it. I took one long scalp. I've literally been out all day, guys. Moving compost. I've been moving compost all day. I took one scalp long today, and I'm still in it, but it's probably going to get stopped out. It is this right here. This scalp long I took right here from these lows. It was based on the idea that I had earlier today, an idea that I had posted earlier today in the Discord, of basically just coming down to the VWAP, between the VWAP and the 786 with some bullish divs, taking along from the low of the range. Didn't quite work out as planned, but I still ended up getting in a trade, and that's the only trade I've taken today. I'm waiting for something to play out. So on these lower term time frames, this is essentially what we've got going on, y'all. Right, this is essentially what we've got going on. We do have a very mini range, which we can actually be looking for trade entries on, right? Bernie says we have bullish divergences on the 4-hour time frame. I don't quite see a bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame. But I would say this, right? I would say this. Very, very locally, this is the range that we are trading. With our very clearly defined high at the 618, our very clearly defined low, in my opinion, is going to be right about down here at about 23,856. And so for me, this is like the sideways range that I'm currently looking to take trades from. And until we close a candle above this high, and until we start to really lose this range to the downside, this is the confines of the Bitcoin price action right now, guys. Below us, like literally right below, but that last impulse to the upside to the high, we do have a golden pocket coming in right below us at about 23.5. So for me, 23.5 is important support. If we start to lose this, I would expect more downside because we have had a very smooth move up. And when you have a smooth move up, it's very easy to get a smooth move back down, right? Smooth move up, smooth move down. If we start to lose the golden pocket 786 zone, we have other zones along the way down, obviously, that we can be looking for as well. But yeah, we're going to have to take that as it comes. And I have a feeling that we're not going to do very much until the news comes out next week. So I do want to take a look at some other assets right now. And I'm going to keep the Bitcoin chart on right here because I do want to be aware if we come back down to this golden pocket zone. This is going to be an area I do want to be aware of. And I do want to be aware if we start to come up to these highs again. So we're going to set some alerts. Maybe we'll be able to grab a trade here on the stream. I'm not sure. If we can get 1,000 likes by 2 p.m., which is in 10 minutes, we will be giving away $250 worth of Bitcoin. Shout out to everybody in the chat. How's everything working? How's everything working here? Archangel needs sleep. I need some sleep too. Aaron Korn wants to know if we have a plan for salvation. We don't have bullish divergences on the Bitcoin 4-hour. We do not have bullish divs. I'm sorry. I wish we did, but we definitely do not have bullish divergences on that time frame there. I'm holding still the long trades, guys. I am hoping that we can get a move to the upside. Let's check out right now the dollar. Let's check out the dollar because the dollar, very, very important. Now, the dollar is pretty much, when we came down to our key zone, 101.297, we were saying, look, if we reject from this Fibonacci golden pocket, this is going to be very bullish for Bitcoin. Now, what happened? We did reject. Now we're starting to get a move back to the upside. As long as we don't put in a higher high, there's a potential that the dollar could also continue to get a move to the downside. If the Fed comes out on Wednesday and says we're not going to increase interest rates, I do believe that this is going to have a bearish effect on the dollar, right? When I look at Market Cipher B, yes, money flow is looking kind of bullish, but I can't help but notice this bearish divergence that is printing right here on Market Cipher B as we put in this double top, this higher high double top into a golden pocket. Momentum is coming lower. And it looks like we very well may just be getting one of these kinds of deals on the money flow, right? We very well may be just getting something where money flow is going to bounce off that zero line and come back lower. And I really think the news is going to act as a catalyst for either more upside on the dollar or more downside. Very, very interesting times. Just looking at this chart, though, we do have to admit that these highs are very, very ugly right here. Looks like this liquidity just wants to be grabbed. Right, looks like we could get a nice squeeze up to like 109. So this is kind of what I'm looking at. If we don't reject from this golden pocket at 105, I'm looking up to 109 to 111 for next major resistance on the dollar. But if this news comes out bearish, I would be looking for the dollar to come in and either put in another lower low or at least come down to the Fibonacci golden pocket from the low to the high and retest this very important zone of support, right? This now is key support. We can see very clearly that we came down and we've made a higher high locally, taking out this swing high, which is pretty much the only visible swing high we have in this whole little move down. Everything else just looks like a bowl full of mush, right? And then we could look for maybe a higher high here. But this would actually allow Bitcoin to potentially get a break above some of these areas of resistance. And then once we're above that level, we'll have to really see what happens. Could get pretty dang bullish pretty dang quickly. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. You guys are the best. May God bless you all. Shout out to Brock Lenders for the super chat. Hey Jay, there's a potential for a weekly bear div on Bitcoin. No, let's check out the weekly bear div on Bitcoin. So, yes, there's a potential for a very local bearish div on Bitcoin here as well. That is something that we do need to be aware of. This absolutely, but here's what I'm thinking. I don't think this green dot is going to confirm. I don't think this green dot will have time to confirm. if we start to get a move down. So I think it will just look like a red dot printed, and then this momentum wave kind of got extended like this. But yes, technically this would be a bullish div on a bearish div on the weekly, and we could go down to lower time frames as well and see this same kind of pattern forming. Like, look at the 5-day, right? This is still a divergence. Just the fact that price gets higher and momentum gets lower, even if we don't have the dots, that is still a divergence. But the money flow is looking kind of bullish to me. So that's why I really think the market is waiting until that news comes out. We have seen some altcoins go absolutely crazy lately, like some of those AI coins. But in general, Ethereum, Bitcoin, like the bigger alts, they have not done very, very much. What other coins should we take a look at, guys? Let me know in the chat what other coins we should be taking a look at. By the way, guys, if you want to trade on ByBit with 0% limit fees, take advantage of this volatility, click the link in the description. It's actually a good deal if you actually know how to trade. If you don't know how to trade, this will wreck you and you will lose everything you have. But if you do know how to trade, it's a really good deal because the fees do cut into your profits. And also, if you deposit $100, you get a month free of the Crypto Fusion Trading Bot. And the Crypto Fusion Trading Bot is a tool. You can check it out at jasoncaspertrading.com. It will basically trade your plans for you. Also, we do have 20% discount on both courses, guys. The comprehensive course that will teach you how to do this the right way with a well thought out system, as well as the advanced course that will go over how to actually understand an order flow chart that looks like this right here. All right. And speaking of the order flow chart, let's kind of take a look at an order flow chart right now and see what is actually going on with Bitcoin, with these orders. Do we have longs coming in? Do we have shorts coming in? What is going on? You know, I've had some issues with ExoCharts loading on my computer lately, guys. Okay, so we are at VWAP chopping around here. We are at VWAP chopping around right now. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit and see what has happened. Nothing too crazy, nothing too bullish, nothing too bearish, just kind of chopping around. We came up to these highs. Okay, so we did get some bearish CVD when we came up to this high earlier today at around 11 a.m. New York time. We came up to this high, we put in a lower high, and we saw some bearish absorption here, where basically what that means is we saw whales absorbing retail traders following along, pushing the price down to VWAP. We're currently chopping around at VWAP. We're not seeing very much happening long-wise or short-wise right now. Yeah, look at this bearish CVD coming in right here. Bearish CVD is basically, this is called open interest. It's telling us our traders opening or closing positions. This is CVD, this white line. This is telling us our traders longing or shorting. So if open interest is going up and the white line is going up, that means there are new traders entering into the market, putting their capital up for risk. And if the price is making lower highs while we're seeing traders longing, that doesn't make any sense, right? The only explanation is that we have whales up here that are absorbing these retail traders. They're absorbing the market orders and they're filling up a big limit order to push the price down from here. Let's see what coins we should be taking a look at right now. There's some very interesting altcoins right now. Divine Hood says we have bearish CVD locally. Yeah, we do have that bearish CVD that It may not have even played out yet, guys, because a lot of these longs are actually still open, right? We have a lot of longs actually still open here, including mine. So we may get a pretty significant move to the downside right here. And significant is relative when we're in a small range like this. It's relative when we're in a small range. Machu Picchu says there's a descending wedge on the 1 hour. Let's check that out quickly. Descending wedge on the 1 hour. Let's check this out. A descending wedge on the 1 hour is a bullish pattern. Okay, let's see. Are you talking about this? That is quite interesting. So we do have a falling wedge on the 1 hour. This is technically a bullish pattern. And if we do pull a fib from the low to the high, we don't have much confluence at that lower trend line right there. Let's pull a fib from a lower place. Nope, don't have much confluence either from any of these lows. So that is an interesting pattern just to be aware of, I would say. That is interesting. When I do look at the 1 hour market Cipher B, it does look like potentially there's more downside here. Shout out to Aaron G in the chat. All right, should we take a look at Pirate Chain? I do like Pirate Chain. We'll take a look at GRT. GRT is one of those coins, guys, that's it's been very volatile. It's actually been pretty nice. GRT. USDT. Yeah, let's take a look at GRT. Alright, so GRT, guys, I would say is at the top of its local range. I would consider the range to be since May. And this looks bullish, right? We are holding above the value area high of this very large range right here. And we are coming up into some resistances. Let's see if we have any kind of local Fibonacci's. We do not really have any kind of local fibs here. Alright, let's see what we got going on. Right now, we have to think to ourselves, if we need to think of a bullish and a bearish plan, right? Because if Bitcoin's about to pump, then all these altcoins are probably going to consolidate or do very little and then pump like crazy. So let's pull out some areas of support and resistance. We did absolutely bounce from the Fibonacci golden pocket already. So that is already something that has happened. So unfortunately, if I was going to be looking for a long on GRT, it would have been from around this Fibonacci golden pocket zone. So two scenarios, one bullish and one bearish. I would say for a bearish scenario, as we look at the daily time frame, as we are seeing that potentially here money flow is curving down on the daily and we might get a move to the downside, I would be looking for a retest at the Fibonacci golden pocket retracement to the upside to potentially get into somewhat of a short trade, right? But I don't really see any zones of confluence that I really like here. Let's pull some volume. Okay. Yeah, this is great. So I would say we've got ourselves a nice zone of resistance right here between the point of control and that value area. This is a weekly level, and this is a golden pocket, and this is a value area high between 1686 to 1874. So if we're going to put in a lower high here, this is where it's going to be, right? This is where it's going to be from right here. And in this case, I would look to trade it back down to the low of the range, right? I would look to trade it back down to the low of the range. We have a very clearly defined range right here. We have taken out the high, we have hit into this May order block, and now, if we're going to put in a lower high, we're coming right up to this local value area high, and then we could honestly look to take it all the way down. I'm not necessarily saying that would happen, but what we could do is take partial profits, right? Take partial profits along the way. So my first take profit would have to be, if I was actually trading this, it would have to basically be a retest right here, which is not really the best risk-reward ratio at all. But a final target of the trade would then be down to the value area low of the range, which is also not necessarily the best risk-to-reward either. So maybe I wouldn't be too interested in this potential setup here. But nonetheless, if we were going to get a rejection, that's where it would have to be from. So let's kind of hypothesize that maybe we are going to continue to the upside. Maybe this is a higher high, and this is the higher low at the golden pocket, and now we're about to put in a higher high. I actually think that based just on the market structure here, that looks kind of probable, and the reason why is because we've officially changed market structure, right? This is a breakout, potentially. This is like a cup and handle pattern, so to speak, right? We've got our cup, and now we're forming our handle right here, and this is going to lead to a breakout, and we'll find our target for that quickly. But first, if this is true, and if this golden pocket is a higher low bounce, then what we can do is, I would say we could probably look for a local entry, right? We could look for a local entry. So let's go down to the 1 hour time frame, and let's look to see, do we have any kind of a local entry here? All right, we're going to pull out some volume from the low to our current place. And then I am going to pull a fib from the low to the high. This is also a little bit tough, right? I'm not really seeing any kind of confluences that are jumping right out at me. But I would say this. 1 hour is getting some bearish divs here. So if we come down for another low, if we're going based on the idea that this is a macro higher low, then the logical place to be looking would be basically to take out these two lows here to grab that liquidity, and then be doing so with a bullish divergence on the 1 hour time frame like this as we come down into the golden pocket / 786 zone, which could give us a pretty nice potential entry here with a target of, you know, essentially, if we're looking at this as a swing trade, the target could be the breakout of this cup and handle, right? I mean, if we're about to get a massive crypto pump next week, if the Fed says we're not raising rates at all, this could really give us a very juicy potential trade setup where we would have a target, a macro target of pretty dang high. So let's kind of figure out where would that target be if we take a trend line from the neckline of the cup and handle to the low. Just kind of extend this upward. This is log scale mode, right? We're looking to basically retest the important support resistance flip, coming in right around 36 cents. And I'm pretty sure that's a pretty interesting zone of confluence because we have this old range that we traded for a long time here. Let's kind of see where that volume is. Yeah, look at that, right? We'd be coming right up to the value area low high volume node of this this old range. That's actually a pretty nice confluence for a potential long setup right there, where we're essentially looking for a massive target of about 165%, right? About 165%. So for this, I would want to see bullish divergences on the 1 hour time frame. The 4 hour looking like it's going to print a trigger wave, but to the downside. But yeah, if the 4 hour is giving us a bullish trigger wave and the 1 hour is giving us bullish divergences, I think that this really could be a potential nice setup. And of course, it doesn't mean we're going to hit our final target, but if we're always looking for setups like these, you know, and we're using good risk management, the ones that play out, they're going to be profitable, and the ones that don't play out are not going to set us back, right? Risk management is very, very key when it comes to trading, because not every trade is going to be a winner. But if you're looking for setups like this, where you're like, man, this is a really good risk to reward ratio right here, there's a lot of upward potential. I'm assuming, you know, obviously it's based on the hypothesis that market structure has changed on a higher term time frame. But yeah, this could be a nice one right here, guys. This could be a nice one. Let's see what other coins we want to take a look at here. Nike says Bitcoin. We love Bitcoin. Let's take a look back at Bitcoin. Bitcoin pretty much doing the same thing as always, guys. Just chopping around the local ranges here. In a local downtrend, not really doing too much, so to speak. Not really doing too much, so to speak. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. We got about 800 people in here, about 400 likes. Let's see if we can get the likes up to the watchers. Unfortunately, it's past 2 o'clock, so we can no longer get our 250 giveaway. But if we can get 1,000 likes by 2:30, which is in 22 minutes, we will be giving away $100 of Bitcoin. It'll be a good time, guys. It's always a good time when we're giving away free Bitcoin. Let's check out what's happening with Bitcoin locally right here on the order flow chart. Looks like we have a big decrease of open interest. Traders are closing out of their positions. Mostly longs closing out, getting stopped out here on the way down. And shorts, we did have a few shorts actually open up into the VWAP, and a lot of them are still holding on to their positions right now, and they are in profit. Let's check out what's happening on Market Cipher. The 1 hour time frame, VWAP is still pointing to the downside. On the 24-minute time frame Market Cipher, it does look like we may print a bottom soon, but in general, it is not looking too strong. Money flow, pretty neutral. This is a very rangy range. The market is waiting for that decision. That is going to be happening on Wednesday. Shout out to Ian Platt, YouTube. Shout out to John, who says Theta. Should we take a look at Theta? We might take a look at Theta. Yeah, let's take a look at Matic first, and then maybe we could take a look at Theta. We'll take a look at Matic. Alright guys, Matic is one of those coins that in my opinion is going to be very bullish in the next bull market. And here we are. This is some old TA on Matic where we're basically looking to find support around this green box. And we did roughly find support around that green box. Let's delete all this TA and start over and kind of look at this because, you know what? Let's take a look at Matic on Binance. Let's take a look at Matic on Binance here because this is better. This is better. Let's close off all this stuff that we got on here. Let's just start afresh. Let's start afresh. Take a look at Matic with some fresh eyes, guys. With some fresh eyes. So yeah, Matic is in a clear uptrend from June 2022. Let's take a look at all the volume that has traded since. Let's take a look at the from June. Okay, so we are basically back inside the range here for Matic. Let's take a look at this old range. Let's take a look at all of this. This is very interesting, guys. So on Binance, Matic has been holding very key support right down here at this value area low. This is the weekly time frame. Let's see if we have any juicy confluences right here. All right, so we've already hit into that golden pocket. Let's see what else we got here. Well, to me, guys, this is a pretty obvious area on Matic where I would be looking to like a buy zone or a long zone right here. We have this very, very juicy zone. Golden pocket, value area low of this massive range. Clear support. I mean, it's been support many, many times, even going all the way back to July 2021. This was acting as a clear zone of support. And man, this is pretty juicy, in my opinion here. The weekly market Cipher B looking like we could get more upside. Let's check out the daily market Cipher B. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. We got some bearish divergences. Now we're printing a big green dot. Looks like we're about to get another move to the downside here. Let's check out our 4 hour. Wow. I mean, an amazing scenario, like too good to be true type of scenario that could play out right now is this, right? A big drop with a very bullish divergence on the 4 hour market Cipher with the money flow getting higher. That would be an amazing opportunity. And when those types of things happen, they're very obvious, but they don't happen too often, right? They don't happen too often. So my idea for it would be something like this, right? My idea would be something like this. I mean, this would be for like a low leveraged or spot position, but basically it's a 4-to-1 risk reward where, you know, if we're using good risk management, whatever position size we would put on the trade, we would be making 4 times more than we would be risking. If we can get a juicier entry, let's say we bounce right from the golden pocket and we put the stop loss below the low, then this is like an 11-to-1 risk reward, basically risking 10% to make 125%. You know, this is if we're putting our whole account on the trade 1x leverage, which I never really recommend doing that, right? I never recommend risking more than 1 to 3% of your stack per trade, because if you are risking more than 1 to 3% of your stack per trade, it's going to end up being an uphill battle. If you take, let's say, 3 or 4 losses in a row, now you've just lost like 12% of your account. And I guess you could make that back in one massive swing trade, but oh man, it's just not a good position to be in. You want to focus on the slow and steady gains. This would kind of be a juicy potential, in my opinion, right here for Matic. All right, let's take a look at Theta. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Aaron G. Shout out to Code. Shout out to Frost, who wants to take a look at Gala. Jason Castro is digging this jam. Yeah, this is also one of my jams as well. This is also one of my jams. Yeah, all right, let's take a look now at Theta as we said we would. Theta is a very strange coin. The chart looks like crap, to be honest with you. You know, It really does. Let's kind of take a look here. We had some ideas for it in the past, so let's check out what we were kind of looking at here. All right, this was our trading idea for Theta, and it looks like we hit the support, and it looks like we are still technically in the trade. We were looking at this as a zone of support along the way down, and so let's see what happens here, guys. Let's see if we hold this support. Let's check out the daily market cipher and see what's happening on the daily time frame. It's not looking so great right now, guys. So here's what I would say for this idea of finding support right here in this box that we have drawn out. Let's check out our 4 hour. Okay, 4 hour looks all right. It looks all right. Here's what I would say. We'll pull a fib from the low to the high, and I would say that if we retrace deeper than the 786 Fibonacci, it's a no-go, right? It's a no-go. This, for me, if I was in this position, if we start to retrace deeper than 90 cents, I would say it's a no-go, right? But for right now, based on this kind of bullish div on Market Cipher B, as we came down to our zone of support, you know, money flow was not getting higher here. Money flow was not getting higher here. And so that's money flow getting higher is like a macro bottom signal, but just the 4 hour divergence is good. We did get a significant move from that 4 hour div. Yeah, if we retrace down and print a trigger wave on the 4 hour with this money flow continuation, that could be good. But any deeper than the 786, and I would say we're probably going to come lower on Theta, because the 786 it becomes more probable that we're not going to continue in the uptrend if we retrace deeper than that 786. Really, technically it's the 618, but the 786 is the new 618 in crypto, right? I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the 786 is the new 618. If we lose this to the downside, I don't really have any other places that I would be looking to get long, except maybe, oh man, it's tough to say, but there is a, do we have that, no, we don't even have a weekly order block here, guys. We don't even have a weekly order block. I would be cautious longing Theta if we lose the local 786 at 90 cents. I would be very, very cautious. Here's why I would be so cautious. We have failed to make a higher high here, right? We didn't take out the previous high, and we're getting a weak bounce from where we should be getting a strong bounce. So if we're losing 90 cents, I would kind of wait on Theta. I would wait for us to get some kind of sign of strength or some kind of other potential entry here, because I think we could come a bit lower. And where would we come to? I mean, there are some areas we could look and just say, yeah, this is probable to find support. So we have this old mini range back from September 2020. The next zone of support that we actually have on this chart is going to be right here, where we have a high volume node, we have a weekly order block, and we have the low volume node. This could be an area to be looking at around 60 cents. 60 to 63 is kind of a big zone. But if we start to lose our current support, I would look for something like this. Right? This is a trading plan that involves a lot of future what ifs, but that's how we do it, right? We come up with what if scenarios. That's how we're going to get into the juiciest trades. So what I would look for a good swing position on Theta is something like this. Let's say we do come down and we do hold this support, okay? Then what I would want to see is I would want to see maybe some kind of like local change in market structure, right? I'd want to see some kind of local change in market structure. So what that means is I would want to take out, let's see, we do something like this, right? We come down. I would want to come up at least to take out this last high. And if we take out that last high, then we could look for a retracement to long the inverse head and shoulder pattern right from the Fibonacci golden pocket. Now, I know that this is a lot of future extrapolation, but this is what we have to do if we want to be 1 or 2 steps ahead of the market. If we don't want to FOMO, if we don't want to chase price, we need to be looking for things to happen and trading our plans and say, okay, if we come down to the point of control, value area low of this old range from November, if we start to show a sign of strength by locally putting in a higher high, then I will look to long the retracement at the golden pocket if we're getting bullish divergences there, right? Because this is giving us a clear setup. This is showing us a sign of strength. This is giving us a clear setup where we know our stop loss would go below the 786. because we are looking for a retracement from the golden pocket 786. And in that case, we could be targeting back up to maybe perhaps the highs of this local range right here, which isn't even necessarily the best risk reward, honestly. So I don't know. It's tough with Theta right now. It's pretty tough. If you're super bullish on it, maybe you'd be buying the exact bottom and then you could just hold. I don't know if you're looking at spot or if you're looking at margin trading or whatnot. But as far as like DCAing goes, you know, I can't really say. I do hold a lot of Theta because my brother got me into it. But the truth is, I mean, we could come down quite a bit lower from here. And if we start to see Bitcoin dump, you know, I would be cautious with it, right? I'd be cautious. Shout out to everybody in chat. God bless you guys. Am I the Terminator? No, I'm not Terminator. All right, we should take a look at Gala. A lot of people want to take a look at Gala. Gala. Yeah, we can take a look at Gala. And then we could take a look at Rose. Shorting Theta is easy money. I wouldn't necessarily say shorting Theta is easy money. Divine Hood says pay attention to near. All right, let's take a look at Gala. All right, so Gala is bouncing from our zone of support that we were looking at on this live stream earlier. I don't remember when. I guess it must have been before. It was like maybe the beginning of March, the end of February. Gala is bouncing from our Fibonacci golden pocket box of support right now. And did we do so with bullish divergences on the 1 hour? We did, but money flow was not too loyal. Money flow getting lower. Let's check out the 1 hour time frame as we came down to that low. 1 hour looking very nice as we come down to the Fibonacci golden pocket retracement here. And yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So yeah, this is what we were looking at. And so for now, it's already happened, right? This is it. It's happened. The next zone of support that we have is going to be right down here at the 786. This is going to be the next major zone of support at exactly 2.565 cents. If we come down lower, 2.565 cents is going to be a major zone of support. If we come lower from here, I would be looking for another bounce from this zone. But the problem with that would be, if we do come down to that zone, we're coming down to the 786. I wouldn't necessarily be looking at that as a very strong thing because we're losing the range to the downside and we're losing the golden pocket. So I might look to long Gala from the 786, and I might look to long it more as a shorter term time frame trade because we would have to look to long it basically. First TP would have to be this support resistance flip right here, right? So we're basically looking at a smaller term long, something like this. Very good risk reward setup because, I mean, basically we're looking to long up to this zone, and that's going to give us, if we catch a bounce right from that 786, that could, even with a looser stop loss, give us a nice 5-to-1 risk reward. And if we do so bounce from there, it could give us much more. Yeah, it could give us much more. Yeah, I would like to see this hold. If we're gonna get more downside right now, let's see where we have the retest. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. I would say support right now, I would look for a long at 2.565 cents, and I would look for a short at 5.026 cents. 5.026 cents. We have the point of control. We have the golden pocket. We have the 786 zone. So this is a very nice area as well to be looking for a potential resistance. So these would be the two major zones I would be looking at Gala right now. But I don't see any kind of really, really awesome, juicy level besides what we already bounced from already. So that was actually a nice move thus far, getting a bounce of about 44% from that low. So 44%, if you haven't taken a profit on that, I don't know what you're doing with your life. For me, I'm taking profits after, you know, 0.5% move. So, yeah, that's a pretty juicy one in my opinion. All right, we'll take a look at Rose. Why is my golden pocket 0.795 and not 0.66618? My golden pocket is 0.618 to 0.65, and my 786 is a 786. I don't have a 795 and a 710. I apologize. All right, let's take a look at Rose. Rose USDT. Rose is a nice one. Privacy coin, if I'm not mistaken. I like this chart, I have to say. It's very rangy. It looks really nice. It looks like a chart I would love to trade. We have come down to the value area low. We've gotten a bounce perfectly to the dollar. We've come up to the point of control, rejected perfectly to the dollar. We have... This does look kind of nice to me. Where would I look for a potential long on this? Let's see. Where was the confluence there? Oh, wow. Yeah, that was nice. Okay. So, the point of control, man, that has given us quite a wick to the downside. And did we find any kind of support at that golden pocket? Let's see. Yeah, okay. We found support at the golden pocket. Unfortunately, I don't really see... Oh, no, we haven't found support at the golden pocket yet. Man, this is a tough one, guys. So, let's check out this volume of the uptrend. I would say, like, for me, a potential long could be from taking out the low. It's tough. It's really tough. I don't know where the stop loss would go. That's the problem with it, right? The stop loss would have to go below the absolute low, because we could bounce from the 786, but we could take this low, and then all this liquidity right here is just grab it. It's just begging to be taken out. So, I don't know. It's kind of tough with Rose, I would say. We've already come down to the low of the range and gotten a pretty significant bounce, so we kind of missed out on that opportunity. This is a little bit tough to plan for, honestly. It's a little bit hard to plan for. It's the kind of thing we'd have to, like, watch in the moment, where I would say there's a chance we could just take these lows into the 786 and get a bounce from there. There's a chance we could take these lows, get a bounce. We could do that here. We could do it all the way down. We'd have to kind of... I don't really like the way the market structure is, but I would say this: we're clearly in a range. We've got that thing going. We've got this thing going. Let's see if we have a descending channel going on here. Nah, it's not looking too great here. Let's check out this. All right, so this roughly is being respected here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not vibing with it, man. I'm not really vibing with it. I'm sorry. There's nothing I would be very interested in right now locally with this. So, yeah, I'm not saying that it's good. It's a bad asset, but shout out to Cozy Babe. Shout out to Aaron G. Shout out to Sagon. In the name of Sam Bankman fraud, SOL, please, SOL. Well, if you're gonna call upon the name of SBF to do SOL, how could I say no? All right, let's do it. Let's take a look at Sol. Let's take a look at Sol. Good old Solana. All right, yeah, let's take a look at it. So Sol, what is happening here? We are rejecting from a zone of confluence, the weekly, the value area high, the 618, all this stuff. Let's clean up the chart and do some fresh analysis here. Now, I'm not as bearish on Sol as a lot of people are, to be honest with you. I think that there's still some hope for Sol. Look at this. Sol rejected perfectly from that weekly level, guys, giving us a move to the downside from that beautiful weekly level. We do have a new fresh weekly level coming in at about 24 and 84. And yeah, I would say right now for Sol, these three orange lines are going to be these three yellow lines, right? I sometimes confuse yellow and orange. They're going to be kind of key to the upside. 44.87 is key. 24.84 is key, and then 9.99 is also key. 9.99, it sounds like some kind of deal that you'd see on an infomercial late at night. You know what I'm saying, right? Okay, I'll tell you what. I can't say that I dislike this, right? I can't say that I dislike this. Let's go to the daily. I can't say that I dislike this at all. Alright, this looks kind of good right now. Let's pull out some volume. It's a low volume node right here. Support resistance flip. 6-1 Theta. I dig it. I could dig it. So I would say for Sol, I would be looking for a bullish divergence on the daily time frame and down as we come to the 6-1 Theta. And I would really just be looking at to trade it back up to the top of the range, really. Because we could say that we have a pretty clear potential range forming right here, with the old highs now acting as the new lows. If we start to do something like this, with the juicy, uneven butt cheek pattern forming on Market Cipher B on the daily, and then also if we go down to the 4-hour time frame, wow, that would look actually pretty dang nice, guys. That would look pretty dang nice. Money flow and momentum would be getting higher. So if we have a bullish div on the 4-hour time frame with momentum and money flow getting higher, then I would say, yeah, that is pretty dang juicy for a potential long. And I would look to take it back up to the highs. Let's take a look at the range that we had going on here. Yeah, this could be nice, right? I would say that a target of mine would probably be... This would probably be my target. Right about here, which would give me this setup. That's not a bad trade setup. We would have to TP1 at the value area low, and then TP2 would be in the green box. Yeah, we'd be looking for a bounce from these highs here. So if we start to lose this high right here, I would say it's a no-go for me. So that's why the stop loss goes under 14.16, right? That's a potential nice setup given the fact that we could get a bullish div on the 4-hour momentum money flow, if you know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying. ICP, I am pretty bullish on ICP in general. More bullish on ICP than my new hair. How do you guys feel about the hair? Like the video if you like the hair, guys. Like the video if you like the hair. Shout out to Mike. What is going on, Mike? God bless you, man. Recommend ED. Recommend ED. What does ED stand for, my friend? Bitcoin Frylock Fridays. Shout out to Brian Miller. Shout out to James C. $9.99. Are you out of your mind? Shout out to KV Hups and Silosis was calling out APT yesterday in this chat from 13 to 14 free sauce. Shout out to Silosis for giving away the free sauce in the chat. God bless you, Silosis. Shout out to Michiana. Hey, bro, can you please peep BNB short on the 4 hour? Sure thing. I will peep BNB. Thank you so much for the super chat. God bless you. Yeah, let's check it out. BNB. BNB USDT. You're short on BNB? Oh, wow. Okay, so we're coming up to a zone of resistance here. We do see some bearish divs on the 4 hour, potentially. Let's go down to the 1 hour. We also see some potential bear divs on the 1 hour. Let's go down to the 24. Also some potential bear divs on the 24. So yeah, it's definitely at resistance. We're at a golden pocket. We're coming up to a weekly. Potentially, this could be a good zone to short. We're above the monthly. We're coming up to a weekly. We're at the golden pocket. This could be a good area to be looking for a move to the downside, for certain. For certain. Value area high of the range. Weekly level. Golden pocket. Yeah, it's definitely a potential area that I would be looking for a short trade from. If we are going to put in a lower high, this is where we're going to do it from. Let's see something. Where is that golden pocket? Is that an old golden pocket? That is an old golden pocket. An old and golden. An old and golden. So we've actually already rejected from this golden pocket once back in the beginning of February. So let's see. The last time I did TA for this was a long time ago. December 22nd. Wow. Okay. Thursday, December 22nd is the last bit of this TA here. So let's adjust everything. Let's adjust everything here. Let's remove everything from here and refresh this because this is old stuff, man. Wow. Okay, so value area high is still the same. Let's remove this old fib. And let's go to our weekly. I don't even know if that's still a weekly level. Let's check it out. Wow, we front ran it like crazy, but you know what? I would consider that weekly level hit because look at this. If we go from the purple candle, yeah, I would consider that weekly to be hit. All right, so maybe we don't have as much confluence here as I thought we did. Let's check out the month. That month is also no longer a fresh month. The week is no longer a fresh week. The golden pocket is no longer a golden pocket. You know, maybe back in January and February, it would have been a good confluence, but now a lot of these things are no longer confluences. So what would we be looking at for next resistance? Well, clearly we're at resistance, right? We are clearly at resistance. We cannot ignore the fact that we're at the high of the range right now. Here's what I would be potentially looking for a short. I mean, we are seeing bearish divergences, so there's a really good chance we do come down from here. We're at the value area high of the range. Buy low, sell high. That is the crux of all good trading, in my opinion, right? So what I would be looking at now for a potential short is I would want to, because the golden pocket's already hit, I would want to take the highs and potentially reject from this zone a little bit higher here, coming into the 786 area. But an even juicier potential trade would be from this CDW and this daily level up here. But I do see the bear divs on these lower time frames, even the 4 hour. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen here? You know, I would say if someone put a gun to my head right now on BNB and said long or short, I would have to say short. I would have to say short. I'm not going to long this. And you know, we're at resistance with bearish divergences, you know. Shorts are getting eaten up by longs on Bitcoin. Let's check out the corn. Interesting. I wonder if that long is still open. It's still going, guys. It's still going. It's still going. All right, guys. Well, it's been a great stream. I'm going to head out, get back to the farm. Got a lot of work to do, guys. It is planting season. And, man, it's so important to be as self-sufficient as possible in these times, guys. When things are literally on the brink of collapse, you know, it is very important to be as self-reliant as possible. Grow as much of your own food as you can. Meet your local farmers and build relationships with people in the local area. And above all, you have to have faith that the Lord will bring you through hard times, right? But I love gardening, I love homesteading, and that's the time of year. So I'm gonna get back out there, guys. God bless you all in the name of Jesus the Messiah. May the Lord bless you. May He protect you. May He shine light upon you. May He have grace upon you. May the Lord turn His face towards you and give you wholeness and peace in the name of Jesus the Messiah. I will see everybody in the next stream. Peace, y'all.